Oh, hi guys.
I love that. That is one of the best intros naturally to have. Surprise, surprise. Well, you know who's in the stream now. People, big up everyone that's locked in inside. The Premier League is back. International break is over. And Daps is back, as you can see in the background. There you go. Guys, it's the Man City Liverpool preview. It's one of the biggest games of the season. Despite the league position, we know that in the last 5 years, these two have been holding the helm of the Premier League, you know, taking us far in Europe as well. And they're the first game back on Saturday. Everyone's going to be watching 12:30, and we're going to be discussing it all. So, guys, make sure you smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new as well. And also shout out everyone that's been a member. I know it's been about 4 months since we started that now. Some of you have been members for 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month. And it's great that you're part of the team. So if you want to become a member as well, don't forget to hit the link down below and you can join there as well. But less of me talking. It's about the panel today. So let me bring everyone in. Monts has joined as well. Perfect timing. And that makes me in the middle. We've got home and away. Daps, surprise, surprise. He was on the screen. Caught you off guard.
I'm here.
Do you know what I wanted to do? I just wanted to show him the best looking person in the room, really.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you.
There you
Thank
go.
you. You've never told me that before, so I've done something right. You're missing me. Good, everyone good? Thursday. About, is it 36 hours? Something like that? 36 hours? 40 hours to go?
What, till the kickoff, you mean?
Oh, till football's back. Till football's back.
I can't wait, you know. This international break really killed me for some reason. I don't know why.
It's longer than usual, isn't it?
I don't even watch it, man.
Yeah,
Shit's dead, innit?
I
don't like
enjoyed the
it.
international break. I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it? I don't like it.
I loved it.
I wouldn't mind if the rest of the season
Can it be longer? Can we go another week?
Yeah.
Oh, Liverpool. No fighting talk yet from Liverpool fans.
Oh, no, it's all positive for Liverpool, actually, because international break means Henderson actually gets to do his job. Go out and pose for pictures with potential targets.
We've got an assist for Saka as well, so we'll keep that one as well. Oh, whoa, guys! Like I said, there's over 50 of you already in. So, guys, make sure you smash the like. I'll get through the comments in a second, but we've got Callum inside from Kopish. Great channel, great guys over there. Yeah, Callum, cheers for coming on, man. How you keeping? You okay?
Not too bad, bro. Thanks for having me as always, man. Much appreciated.
Nah, it's good. It's good. I think the last preview you was on was I'm trying to
It's the
think
Man United one.
It's the Man United one, isn't it?
Yeah,
We never spoke about that one time. It's cool.
Yeah. I've ran away from you and once, and now I've got to deal with both of you. Luckily, it's not against us. Okay.
I'll be honest, because we didn't beat Bournemouth, you're gonna get away with it. If we had beaten Bournemouth, I'd have been so shameless today.
You would have been coming on with probably wearing red.
I still think, regardless of the loss to Bournemouth, they due to Southampton were actually placed below Bournemouth the same weekend. So I'm happy to be shameless, Carl. I'm happy to be shameless.
And Monts is wearing the kit. Is that the kit you what did you win with that? I remember you won something with that kit, didn't you?
He didn't win anything with this kit.
You didn't. I was just checking.
We won Dominic Solanke. It was Dominic Solanke that played in this kit. So
okay, yeah. No, I was just checking. You might have. Klopp's won a few things, but now we say Monts, big six bands. Great to have you on. How you keeping? You okay?
Not too bad, bro. As I said, just Liverpool can't ruin my weekends, so I feel like I've been more at peace during this holiday, you know. But I am itching for some more football, man. So I can't wait to get into it.
That's the thing, innit? It's all like you feel good, but once it gets to 12:29, they're walking out on the pitch, big game fever kicks in, and no matter what, you want to win your game. And obviously we go over to the home team. We've got Lewis from City Extra, great Man City channel over there as well on YouTube. All the channels, by the way, are down below in the description. So make sure you go and subscribe to them. And Daps also does stuff on Kopish as well as Never Frau and City Extra as well. So make sure you go and track Daps over there as well. Lewis, how are you, bro? Good to see you back on.
Yeah, I'm all good, man. As I said just off before we started the stream, man, I'm coming down with some fucking illness again, man. You know what I mean? It seems to be going round again, you know what I'm saying? And it's not the best time for it because this Liverpool game's high emotions, you know what I'm saying? It's high stakes game. So yeah, we'll have to, I don't know, tank some paracetamol out later on or something.
I'll stay away from the City training ground. Stay away from that City training ground, mate.
Yeah, I'm all good though, man.
Love that. Just a few of the comments. We've got over 100 of you here, so make sure you keep smashing them likes, guys. We're going to get straight into it. 3-1 City. Alvarez double and Grealish goal, just to shut up Cass about Grealish. No Haaland in training today. We'll definitely touch on that Chiavelli as well. But it's big up K.
Big up Marsh. The one that goes at Grealish. Cass was defending Grealish last night.
More Mo. I think it's more Mo, isn't it?
Yeah, Mo's got an agenda against Grealish. We actually put last night in our tier list. We did 30 players, 30 random players, and we all agreed in putting Grealish one below elite this season for his performances. So
yeah, he has been good. He's done everything Pep's asked him. That's why he's starting. Big up Wolves FI as well. I'm glad everything's sorted out, Wolves, by the way. Thanks for passing that message to Sean. So obviously you know what happened, but yeah, we've sorted that out. So thank you for watching again and supporting the channel. Yes, LB in the hizzy, love that. Glad I've still got my mod. Logic stat says easy win for City home, form and hunger, therefore Liverpool will win. Well, this is football. Keep getting your comments in, guys. We're gonna get straight into it, but I think there's only one place to start. It's with Man City. They've got, Arsenal to hunt down. They've got the 12:30 game at home. Me and Daps have spoken enough on stream saying if they don't win this game, you could say maybe the league is over with Arsenal.
No, I've never said that.
No. Me. Yeah,
right,
yeah. So when we've had discussions, we've said that obviously if you win that, the league could be over. That's how I look at it with Arsenal playing Leeds. You've said this is your time of the season. This is where you come good. This is where City deliver. Lewis, where are you on this game when you come into it Saturday? Is it a must win? Is it like if we get a draw here or a loss, you're thinking this is it? We've got to go for the Champions League now.
It's a must win. But what it does is if we don't win the game, I don't think the league is over, but it changes my priorities, right? So okay. if you look at like Southampton, what we've got next week, if we lose or draw against Liverpool, and Haaland's still got this bit of a niggle, I potentially don't send Haaland against Southampton. I rest him and just say, you know what? I'm not saying the league's done, but it's unlikely from that position that you're going to go and win the league. So I'll probably save him then for the Bayern Munich game that we play 3 or 4 days after Southampton. So it's not that I give up on the Premier League. I don't give up on the Premier League. You know what I mean? I think it would be too soon. But you have to be real. We're running out of games. We're running out of time. So if we do drop points against Liverpool on Saturday, like I say, don't give up, but it changes my priorities, man. And I start looking at the Champions League then and thinking, obviously, you got Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. It's not easy, right? But it's knockout football. We've got a mint team and a great. Anything can happen. We got a hunt down Arsenal. We can win every single game then to the rest of the season and still not win the league, right? So I won't give up. I ain't going to concede the title, but for me, it just changes the priorities of the games and who I send. I probably wouldn't send Haaland against Southampton. I would give Kevin De Bruyne limited minutes against Southampton. So, I start to change my thoughts on the league. But I wouldn't give up, man. I don't think it's a give up. I don't think I'm at that stage where I'm like, nah, fuck it, play the kids, you know what I mean? It's done. But you got to be real, man. You got to be real and you got to think it's unlikely at that point.
How confident are you going into the game, though, Daps? Because when you look at it, right, Man City this year, I was looking at their home form, obviously. You've lost to Brentford at home. I don't think of any other games I could... Everton, due to Everton, I think it's Brentford maybe your only loss at home this season. Off the top of my head, that's what I was thinking of earlier.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Brentford. So pretty solid home record when you put it that way. You're playing this Liverpool team, which we'll get to after. Obviously, I'm not having the best of seasons on their front, but still they've got obviously their main players apart from Sadio Mane, he's left. Do you feel like this is dangerous territory for City, and it could be in a positive or good way because you know that you need to win this game? But you also know the rivalry with you and Liverpool. But because they're not as good this season, do you feel like you've got more pressure now going into this game Saturday because of their form this season?
That says he's going to smash
Liverpool
us.
Liverpool are always dangerous, man. Always. Like, there's never going to be a point that I don't see Liverpool as dangerous. Like, you know what? Because of you lot, I got over the danger before we went to Anfield and started fucking believing we were going to go to Anfield and smack them up, right? Because you and Cass kept telling me. So off the back of that, no. But you know what it is, yeah? Is a bit like what Lewis said. We have to be the best Man City. And so that don't matter whether this weekend we're playing Liverpool at home or we're playing Southampton at home. We have to be the best Manchester City now because we can't slip up. There's no games we can slip up in. So it's the same thing. Look, it is Liverpool. It is a hard game, but we generally beat them at home. Now there's added pressure that we have to beat them at home. If we don't beat them at home, then Like, we have to just say, do you know what? This might not be our year, because Arsenal are not going to drop a lot of points, right? They're not going to drop a lot. If we do win, then all of a sudden it puts the pressure on Arsenal, because if we beat Liverpool at home, which some might say is one of our hardest games left.
Agreed.
Arsenal beat Leeds. Let's just say Arsenal beat Leeds. But then they have to know they go to Anfield next weekend knowing they must beat them. Because if they don't beat them, they've then also got to come to the Etihad and get a result. And so it's a massive game. This weekend and next weekend is huge in the title race.
It is. Huge. It is. I just feel like, I love that saying, big games, big moments, big pressure. Me and you messaging halftime, big 45 minutes. I feel like there's so many of these
you will message me massive 45 minutes at halftime. 100%.
I'm gonna send it to Monts as well. I'll be like, this is a group chat, big 45 minutes, because I feel like this game won't be decided quick. I don't think it'll be decided easy. It's always hard coming off the international break as well, just to say, like, be your best. Sometimes you can be, like you said, Daps, but sometimes it's a bit like when you come back with the international break, you're just trying to get the shackles off for that first 20 minutes. And then you look at Liverpool, obviously they beat you early in the season. And Callum, if you beat City, I don't know if you know this, but this will be only your first double over them since 2016. And I think your second double in 17 seasons. So, like Daps says, you don't really go to the Etihad and win games. You might draw a few and stuff like that, but going there and winning and doing a double is not something that you usually do. With Liverpool now, you were saying just before the stream started, like, you could be done with the season now, international break. But this is Liverpool. You've seen your team with the Mo Salah. You've seen Diogo Jota. I know Darwin Núñez is a bit obviously hit and miss, but he can cause that chaos. You've got still Van Dijk. You've got Trent, Robertson. Why do you not have any belief sort of in this team, maybe, that they can go there and do something on Saturday?
I wouldn't say I don't have any belief, because we saw when we turn up, we can batter teams like United 7-0. The problem I've got is the lack of. I had to. It's low hanging fruit, isn't it? But at the same time, I've also seen my team go away to Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, and lose as well. So it's like there is no consistency there. And one thing I've noticed with Liverpool, if we don't score the first goal in the game, it's pretty much done. And over the last couple of years, when we played City, the Etihad, they've started fast, but we've been able to react a lot of the time. I don't know if this team has it within them to react if City get off to a good start. Plus, defensively, we've been a shell of ourselves. Midfield-wise, you look at someone like De Bruyne, and before you'd think, okay, Fabinho's in there, Gini Wijnaldum's in there, you've maybe got something to counteract De Bruyne. Right now, I'm looking at that midfield and I'm thinking De Bruyne is probably licking his lips at the moment, thinking this is the season and this is the time where I really give these lot absolute hammering, because it's been coming, and I'm worried mainly about our midfield and our defence. Also, as you said, Grealish is having a really good season. Trent is very hit and miss at the moment. And one thing I've noticed with Trent, he doesn't do well against wingers who like to drift rather than stick to their positions. Grealish is very much a player who can go into the number 8 position if he needs to, drift into the 10 if he needs to. He can play as a wide player if he needs to. And I think Trent struggles with that sometimes. And if you struggle with that against Grealish, and if Haaland plays, or even if it's Alvarez, you're leaving space in the middle, you're leaving space over on the other side as well. I think the only shining lights for me is Foden isn't playing this game and he has a good record against us. And Haaland might not play, but I'm nervous and worried about this game, I'm going to be honest.
Okay, so you're going into that game. I can understand the midfield, because I think the midfield for me has been a mismatch all season. We all know that you need 2 midfielders in the summer. If you don't go and get that, and then we go into next season,
make it free, bro.
Yeah, free. There you go. Us as rivals are going to be thinking, what the hell is going on in Liverpool, because they're not investing right. But Monts, Jurgen Klopp, he's had his moans this season. He's had games where he's been under pressure. Is this the type of game that you believe in your manager like Jurgen Klopp can maybe rally them together and thrive, because he likes these big games, he likes these sort of moments? Or do you feel like he's kind of in a helpless land at the moment, if I ask you that question? Because I'm only asking you because if you think about it, a few months ago there was a few fans that was calling for his head.
Yeah, no. Listen, I want I wanted to meet him in the car park the same way other man wanted to. I wanted to have a good old fashioned swing out, and then we can hug, kiss, and make up again, because that's how we play.
Love the hug.
It's got to the point where he's now becoming one of those managers where, like, it's either really, really good or really, really bad. There's no middle ground with Jurgen Klopp at the moment. He has stunk it out this season. Should he deserve to lose his job? No. By logic, would another manager have lost their job doing this to Liverpool? Yes. Does Jurgen Klopp have enough money in the bank to be given a chance to turn it around with the right investment? Absolutely. But does it excuse the stinkiness that he's shown us this season? Also, absolutely not. Do you know what I mean? I think beating Man U 7-0 and then losing to Bournemouth literally epitomized our whole season within basically 7 days. That summed up our whole season. And the Liverpool that let's just remember, we haven't got rid of a whole plethora of players, and we haven't established that this is a rebuild. We were predicted to be first and second and third this season. We were in it was that area we was predicted to be, and teams like Arsenal were predicted to come 5th, 6th, and 4th. That was their sort of prediction of where they were supposed to finish. So it's not been good enough. But we're here now. You know what I'm saying, Ty? We're here. We're in this position. The midfield, there's nothing there. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very confusing because I never know what Liverpool you're going to get. We don't know what Liverpool we're going to get, unfortunately. You say we like a big game, but there's been plenty of big games where we bottled it as well as big games where we've shown up. There's also big games where we bottled it. Do you know what I'm saying? In Europe, in our best competition, and in the Premier League, in all competitions.
Yeah, we saw something that I can't remember ever seen in my lifetime, if I'm honest.
Literally.
Madrid coming back from 2-0 and scoring 5. It's mental.
Napoli.
There you go. So this is so right now. We're kind of in that Chelsea territory where Chelsea always have a say as to who wins the league. Like, the Chelsea always have that say where if they go and beat someone, they could stop them from winning the league. They've done it to us in 2014. Do you know what I'm saying? They won Leicester the league in 2016-17 as well.
They got a say.
I believe their win won us our Premier League as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So we're in that position now where we obviously, like Daps said, we have the game on the weekend at the Etihad, and of course we have the game at Anfield against Arsenal. So I'm not sure which kind of pack I'm trying to smoke. Is it the Arsenal Ami, or is it the City Stardog? I don't know which one it's gonna be. It kind of depends on my mood, to be honest. Cal, who are you feeling? What are you feeling to do?
You man are acting like you've got a choice. That's what
I was gonna say. I want both. We need both. We actually need both.
Oh, bro, I know we need both, but it's one of them ones we're not winning both these games. So this is why I'm saying, which one are you feeling? We're not winning both these games, bro. Let's be honest. But we have a massive say to who wins the league.
It's gonna sound wild me saying if I had to pick a team to beat, it would be Arsenal at Anfield. I don't want to lose to Arsenal at Anfield.
Right answer, man.
Now I say this now, but if we get smacked on the weekend, I ain't gonna be saying this. But I can live with losing to City at the Etihad because most teams do. Losing to Arsenal at Anfield, with the way their fans are at the moment, miss me out.
You got to remember as well, when it comes to, I do dislike City, but I feel like but there's a respect there as a rival. I think with Arsenal, them man have been talking from 8th place. Like, people think they're loud now. They've been this loud from when they were just in the mud. That's why they bite at things so easily. That's why they are when it suits me FC, talking about world-class players after 1 year.
You know what you're going to get as well? You know what you're going to get? Yeah, if Arsenal do win the league, they're going to be like, oh, Klopp's only won a Champions League more than Arteta. You know what I mean? And they're going to start comparing Arteta to Klopp, man. So then you then got to try and defend that. You got to defend it. You don't want to be dragged into that conversation.
But you know what it is? And this is my point. Arsenal, they think they're this big club, or they'll talk like they're this big club. But when they get scrutiny, because they're at the top, and then they act like no. We're on our rebuild. We're overachieving. We're just doing what we're supposed to do. Leave us alone. but you guys talk like you're Billy Big Bollocks. I don't get that, and it annoys
What
me.
day do you play them, Monts? What day do you actually play them?
Easter Sunday.
Literally a week after. 1 week after.
It's a Sunday.
What?
Weekday,
You've
Sunday,
got
Saturday evening.
literally next Sunday.
City, Chelsea, Arsenal.
Yeah, Chelsea's on the Wednesday.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that is a run and a half.
Yeah,
But bro, if they
Yeah.
take points out of a few of them games,
Yeah,
all
that
of
could
them for
really-
Liverpool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
because-
is. You know what? You've got a big part to play. Sometimes I think I
that's
don't
what I'm
know
saying.
who.
We're
it was.
Chelsea. We're the Chelsea.
Yeah. One of the managers always
Chelsea
said
have
it.
got a
There's
big
always
part as well, though. Chelsea,
Yeah.
Arsenal have still got Chelsea at home. City have got Chelsea at home, and this season, Chelsea have probably still got. They've still got Tottenham, ain't they?
No, they've still got a good, decent defensive record. That's what they do have.
But
Oh no, Chelsea's still got
haven't
us.
saying a lot of stuff
Chelsea's
as
still
well.
got us as well. Yeah, and
Yeah.
do you know what it is as well? Even playing Chelsea is a dangerous thing because despite their league position, when you're playing these teams that you kind of think like they're 8th or 9th, they're not really going to do nothing in the league. The players are actually playing for their spot to start in the Champions League against Real Madrid. So
Yeah.
playing them now is actually a tricky time because
But at
it's
the
not
same
like
time, bro, they might rotate for the Champions League because that
They
is the
might.
only thing on their radar. At
They
the
might,
moment.
but Potter might. The only thing Potter can probably try and galvanize is a bit of momentum. That's the only thing that can go for him right now because, nothing else is firing. It's going to be really interesting. Let me just get through a few of the comments. Big up for the super chat as well, Dora. I didn't forget Antenna, man. Love that. If you're all the way in Ethiopia as well watching, really appreciate that. So big up yourself, man. He says, this is the greatest revenge Liverpool can do to City. 13 defeats in all comps this season. Klopp needs to fix up. Trent is the most overrated right back ever. Big up,
leave
Megan,
it out.
watching. Aki was our best defender this season. I actually think Daniel, he's had a great season, you know. Respect him. Yeah, he's been brilliant. It happens all the time. Liverpool are good when they're up for it, but drop points to the minnows. Big up Raheem always says KDB is getting back to his best and he always dunks on Liverpool. A funeral.
I don't think he's. Do you know what? I'll be honest. I think people look in the reactionary world. KDB is getting back to his best. In the real world, he's had like 2 or 3 good games, right? Because I think we need to calm down on that. I hope he is. Look, last season, this is where we saw the De Bruyne at his best. He came through the end of last season and was absolutely unreal. When people questioned why he got player of the season, I was like, you're just not watching what he's doing. He dragged City over the line almost every single game in that run-in. But at the moment, look, we just need De Bruyne to keep cooking. He's the player that we need to step forward right now. We're playing a Liverpool that are maybe potentially one of the worst Liverpools we've played for the last 5 years, right? And we're playing them at a time where we need to beat them more than ever, right?
Yep.
And it's at home. So for me, even if Haaland doesn't start and it's looking a bit, I think, Lewis, you probably know more than me, wasn't in training today, was he?
No, I think he'd be benched, bro.
You think bench, yeah? So, look, even then, that is not an excuse. We have to go out and, look, we've been saying all season, if Haaland gets injured, we've got Alvarez. He's a World Cup winner. So now, this is it. This is Haaland's time Alvarez's time to, I say this now, Pep's going to somehow play the false 9, but...
You don't know what he's going to do. Haaland might even be like on the slide rested, and he trains tomorrow, and then he starts. You just don't know because the cameras are there.
1 day training, I can't see it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Go on, Callum.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, I know you guys are talking about Alvarez and stuff, but could you not revert to sort of what you were doing last season and go with the false 9?
You can't do that. You can't spend
like that.
You lot look distraught when I asked that.
No, because because we've been getting it on the channel, man. Some people asking if we would go back to the false 9, but that's in the past, man. You've got this kid in Alvarez. You all seen him in the World Cup. Absolutely fucking embarrass Martinez, the guy at Inter Milan. He was meant to be the guy who was going to lead the charge for Argentina. But after 60 minutes in the first game, it was quite clear that Alvarez was clear. You can't get this guy in. We've just given him a brand new contract. And then in one of the biggest games when Haaland's not ready, go, yeah, not what, fam. I know you've done it in the World Cup, but you're not ready for Liverpool. Oh, nah, you've got to. Yeah. I hear the argument, and I know why you're asking the question, bro. But you can't do that when you've got this guy. You can't.
Do you just a quick question though? Do you think? Well, 2 things. One, I think Alvarez's hold-up play has been quite. I wouldn't say boom, he's Gabriel Jesus or Prime Firmino, but I've looked quite impressive some of his hold-up play when I've seen him play in little spells. And he has the legs to apply the press at the same time. For me, when I look at City play this 3-2-4-1 thing that they've got going on, kind of thing that Pep's been doing, like, I feel like maybe it's an adaptation and the fact that you've got Haaland in the team, but with this formation, there has been cracks, and you guys do look vulnerable at the back at times, and you have conceded very silly goals, and at times lacked the nous to get over the line in certain games. I'm not a fan of this formation of Pep, but then again, it's a new start. It's like it doesn't all click straight away, and it could easily click next season. Ultimately, next season,
five clean sheets on the bounce, Monts.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But that what you just said then was true up until Kyle Walker and Diaz come back into the side. Since they come back into the side, man, 5 clean sheets on the bounce. We're looking solid. I'm going into games. I went into that Newcastle game. Newcastle, you know, top 4, top 5 team this season. And I was confident that they weren't going to score. Now, I know they've had their own issues, but like, I'm going into games now, not worried. Like you just said, earlier in the season, I was worried. I was thinking, fuck, we're going to concede 1, 2 goals. We're going to have to score 3, 4, maybe 5 goals just to get a W. I'm going into games now thinking, we score 1 goal and I reckon we can win the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference to where we are now to where we were like 2-3 months ago.
Especially
Lewis, you are spot on. Sorry, Lewis, you're spot on with that Newcastle game, because the Newcastle game was similar to games like Everton, games like Brentford, as far as that we went 1-0 up, but then we didn't get a second, right? But it felt different. It didn't feel the same as the other ones. The other ones, even Leipzig, when we went 1-0 up in that second half, it felt, in that game, we were always thinking Leipzig might get one here. But against Newcastle, I didn't get that feeling once. When we went 1-0 up, I thought exactly like you did. Now, we look more in control here. Diaz does not look like he's making a mistake. Diaz looks on job here. And I think that Diaz has been so different. Like, it's not being spoke about by other teams yet, but since he has come in, we just look solid at the back. So solid.
You know what, as well, massive flowers have to go out to Pep on this, because he come back from his injury, and I'm sure you all obviously knew it at the time. He was just in training for like 2 weeks. And we, as City fans, we were like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
Our defence is in a fucking crisis, and he's not putting him in the team. And Pep was like, just holding him back a little bit longer, just to make sure that he had a pretty nasty hamstring injury, just to make sure he'd fully recovered, make sure he'd done the extra work in the gym, and then put him in. And you've got to say, like, massive credit to him, because that has paid off, because now we're looking so much more solid. Diaz is looking like the Diaz of old, like world-class centre-back again. And it would have been very easy for Pep just to say, you're straight back in the team. And then it could have been in the mud, you know?
Sorry to ask you this,
I was one of the people that was getting very frustrated going, why is Diaz not starting? So, but you are right now when you look at it.
You know what, Daps, as well? It's mad, because I think Sam, the City fan, went to the Arsenal game away. And the first thing he said to him when he came back is, wow. He said, having Ruben Diaz in there, he said, when Arsenal fans were quiet and you guys were like dominating the ball, he said, you couldn't understand, you can actually hear Diaz just shouting all game instructions, leading that defense, commanding them. And he said it's such a difference to have that, because then the keeper breathes confidence, and then the midfield know that they've got someone behind them that they can trust. I'm not saying that other Cities players they can't trust, by the way, but you have someone that you can turn to. That's the difference. When you're in big games, big moments, you're under pressure, you need someone you can look at and say, right, what do we need to do to get us out of this trouble? And he can do that. And I think Diaz being back is great. And also, I've got to give John Stones his flowers, because despite his injuries, I think him and Diaz are, you know, very, very good together. You had that period, I think, last year or 2 seasons ago.
It was 2 seasons ago. But do you know what it is? That goes with what you were just saying about how you can hear Diaz. That with Stones and Diaz, and this is why I think Diaz and Laporte maybe hasn't worked as well, is that with Diaz and Stones, they get each other. There's no egos, right? There's no... Because Diaz is younger than Stones and Laporte, right?
Yeah.
But Stones is more than happy for Diaz to push him about and tell him where to be, because he knows that's not my job. My job is being the ball-playing centre-back, right? So I'm happy to listen to him. Whereas I think with Laporte and Diaz, I don't think Laporte would be as comfortable with Diaz telling him, you go there, you go there. Whereas Stones is like, no problem whatsoever. We know what our roles are. And that's what you need in any good centre-back pairing, to know what each other does and trust each other.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, I'm just going to say, quickly run up the likes, people, because there's about 200 of you in here. I know there's about 170 in here now, but also support the channel. So smash the likes, subscribe if you're new. Please support Kopish, where Callum and all them guys do their content for Liverpool. Big Six Bants, where Monts' channel, they do Liverpool content, but also generic football as well. And also, obviously, Lewis is from a City Extra, and Daps is on there doing his thing as well. And I know he's on Kopish and Big Six Bants as well. So, guys, make sure you do smash up the likes and subscribe. I see a few comments, but I just want to clear up something. Bergman, I know you're talking about the mods. we decided as a group, me, Daps, Cass, that we were just going to remove the mod for a bit and just keep the people that we started off with, just because we had a few situations where mods are banning people unethically, basically. So yeah, if you've obviously got an issue,
people are banning. It's all good if someone's talking non-football crap, then ban them. But people are getting banned just because they were saying things about someone else's team and whatever. But we are going to reinstate the mods one by one. But I think we'd allowed too many mods, and we need to get to the bottom of which ones are doing and which ones aren't. So we are going to go through and make a lot more mods again, but we need to do it correctly.
Yeah, love that. And if there is any issue or anything, you could just hit up me, myself, obviously Daps or Cass, and just speak to us. So yeah, that's basically that at the moment. But yeah, big up everyone watching the stream. Do you know what? It's funny we're talking about centre backs, because Callum, when you look at Virgil van Dijk, bro. I was
hoping Monts was gonna get. I was hoping Monts was gonna get.
I see what the Dutch legends are doing to him over there. Like, no holding back. You know, you've seen the comments. I don't even need to run through it, but we're talking about a Ruben Diaz who's coming into his prime, obviously age-wise. He's leading that team. Virgil van Dijk, people are asking questions. People are questioning whether he'll get back to his best, because them ACL injuries, we know, we've seen it in multiple players. You are never the same when you come back. And at the age of he's 32 in the summer. I don't know if it's just a slow decline for Van Dijk, but do you still believe that he's the guy for this next maybe even 2 years at Liverpool? Do you think it could be a time where you get a left centre back and Konate starts rising up? Like, what's your feelings on Van Dijk when you look at City and the way they talk about their centre backs?
I think it's a bit of both. If I'm going to be honest, I do think he can be the guy. The problem I've got, and this is going back to the problem I have with Klopp, he came back from the ACL injury and he played more minutes than pretty much anyone else. That for me is neglect. Like, I've personally had an ACL injury. You don't just start doing normal day-to-day stuff like you were before. Like it and again, obviously, I'm not a world-class athlete or anything like that, so I'm not close to Van Dijk. But it's just common sense tells you if you come back from an injury like that, you've got to allow the body to recuperate in a different way. And we didn't do that. And the fact that we played, 63, 64 games last season, plus he played international games, he's played the World Cup, he's not had a break. So I'm not making excuses for his form and his attitude and stuff, because it's wound me up because he's not playing to his ability. He's not even close to his ability. But it comes down to the fact of, one, he wasn't, in my opinion, had his minutes managed, and two, there's no pressure on him. He knows he can have 3-4 bad games in a row and no one's taking his spot. There's not a player at Man City who has that luxury. And that's the difference between Liverpool and Man City, in my opinion. And that's the difference between Pep and Klopp, if I'm going to be honest. Like, Pep's not going to have that. Cancelo's gone.
That's what we saw that period there, bro. That period round, I think it was late. Was it late January, Lewis?
Yeah, Rico Lewis was starting a lot. Walker.
Yeah, it was just after the World Cup. Yeah,
that was literally Pep's. When you look back at it, that was Pep's calling out of the players that he expects get us over the line this season. And it was almost like he's calling out of them as, you know what? Like, I need you to just step up and show me. Because if you step up and show me, no problem. You'll be going back in the team. But I need you to step up and show me. Otherwise, you know what? We'll take the hit. We'll take the hit on it this season. You'll go in the summer and we'll bring in the young players now. No problem. And it's like, that's the difference, I think, between Pep and Klopp, that Klopp hasn't done that at Liverpool.
But I've seen two moments have stood out for me from Van Dijk this season. Ty, you'll remember this. The Man United goal at Old Trafford, the first one when Sancho scored, he's got his hand behind his back like he's doing a dance move on TikTok. Like, that was the first one. We see the one at Bournemouth. That's criminal. That's your man. You've let Robbo take over, and then you're in no man's land. Left Ibu by himself. Trent's marking 2 men at the far post, all because you couldn't be bothered to do what you're meant to be doing. To me, that's a mentality and a mindset thing. And he's too comfortable. It's almost like no one can talk to him. I need someone who's there, who's not frightened to shout at him. I need a manager who says, you just let that happen. You're on the bench next game until I see something different. But at the same time, what Klopp might say as an argument is, who am I going to play instead? Am I going to play Joel Matip, who's out of form, or am I going to play Joe Gomez, who's having possibly the worst season of his career? So,
okay. So Monts, I was going to say, how do you think you solve this problem, even going into next season then?
I think it's an adaptation issue. And I think it's been something that's been happening over time. I think when Klopp's system has all the things it needs to strive, and everything's there, and people and the majority of the squad is fit, I think it is probably top 2, top 3 systems on the planet. But the reason it can never be the best system in the planet is because when you look at Pep's system, people we say it as a joke and we make fun of it, but like it works and it leaves space for adaptation and being able to be unpredictable. When you play the same way in the same system for 5 years and 1 year things start to change, it's gonna fall apart. How bad it falls apart, we don't know, but there is always going to be a drop off. Van Dijk has had a very good Fabinho for the last 3.5 years, 4 years. Yeah, you take out that Fabinho, even the best Liverpool side, when we won the Champions League, then went on to win the Premier League, even when Fabinho would be injured at those times, you'd see a big difference in the midfield. You'd see a vulnerability about Liverpool when Henderson had to come and play that 6, when Adam had to go
when
and play
Fabinho dropped back into the back four.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, if we're talking just away from the system for a second, if we're talking Virgil van Dijk is obviously one of the best defenders we've seen in the last 3-4 years. Of course, I think everyone can agree on that. However, his issue, and I'm going to step away from the mentality thing that Kyle's just said, it's the ability to adapt. Liverpool's midfield situation, the protection he's been given has changed, but Van Dijk hasn't changed. And sometimes, as a footballer, you need to change along with your situation. So Van Dijk is a master at ushering his attacker away from the goal, buying time for the team to get back, and everyone gets to reset. He's rarely that guy to sort of dive in. People call him that Rolls Royce. You know, the comparisons to Maldini, not really going to ground too much. But when you lose your midfield protection, you can't defend like that. It doesn't matter how good you are at it. You cannot show your attacker wide and wait for your midfielders to get back, because there's no longer any legs in the midfield to get back in the speed that it has done in a peak Klopp system. So now that Van Dijk hasn't changed how he needs to defend, and he stayed as this Rolls Royce having to not do too much, now he just looks like Aura Man. He looks like he's just trying to use his.
That's quite a good point. I've never really looked at it that way.
That's why all the Aura jokes are coming, because no one was saying Aura when he was 2-on-1 and usher him man the wrong way and never going to ground and never being beaten for the last 4 years. No one was making fun of him then. But when you lose your protection, you need to adapt, and he is unable to adapt. He's never been in a situation where he's had to adapt. At Southampton, he was the best defender, never had to adapt. At Celtic, he's never had to adapt. Under Klopp, he's now had to adapt. It's the first time in his career where he's properly really had to adapt to a massive change in a situation. I don't want to say change in personnel, because Fabinho's still there. He's just 49 now instead of 29. He's 49. So that's my problem with Virgil. And of course, everything that Callum says is absolutely correct. But that for me is the main thing. Yeah. And it goes for a lot of the other players in the team. Not just because Mane's gone. There's so many other reasons, but when you play a specific false nine, and there's the only variation is a 4-2-3-1 that we played here and there in the 18-19 season when we had Shaqiri when he'd come in and start. That's the only variation we've seen in 5 years. Each man knows one way. So when people say, "Oh, Trent's overrated now," Salah's been found out. No, these men just don't know how to adapt, or they haven't learned to adapt. So until they learn to adapt, this is the Liverpool we're going to see. Because Klopp is not a man with many tactics. There is plan A, and plan B is to improve plan A, and plan C is to try and refine plan A. That is what it is with our manager. And if you don't like that, then you are right to think that Jurgen Klopp has to leave. If you are willing to live through that, then hopefully he refines plan A. And we wish for the best. And that's my answer.
I think that's a powerful answer. I'm going to write the likes and come to Liverpool. But Monts, that's that's one of the nails on the head.
Anyone would think you play football, Monts.
It might get you started Saturday. Callum, is there anything you want to run off the back of that? But you two went back to back there quite well.
No, I'm not going to lie. Monts absolutely knocked out the park with that one. One thing I will say in terms of the adaptation.
I'm not just a troll, by the way, guys. I'm not just a troll.
It's not just for the players to learn. I think it's also for the coaching staff to teach as well. And to come up with different philosophies, different systems that are going to help some of these players. Because you're not just going to learn something new overnight, so especially something that's been indoctrinated into your brain for the last 3-4 years. But there's just seems to be a massive disconnect between coaching players and carrying out instructions at the moment.
Did I say rapid on this, Daps, bro? On the Virgil van Dijk thing, I think since he's got his injury, right? That injury is a fucking horrific injury, and I don't think he's ever been the same since that injury. I think that's pretty clear, and I don't think he'll ever will be the same. So I think you're at a point now with Virgil van Dijk where I don't think he trusts his body as much as he did. I don't think that he's got the confidence that he had at the time, because at the time he was probably one of the best defenders in the world, if not the best defender. He was riding the wave, man. No, every fucking game he was pocketing the best players in the world. You know what I mean? He was riding the wave. He was going into games thinking, "I'm the fucking man. I am him." He ain't doing that no more. He's going into games and he's probably worried. You know, I'm watching him sometimes. It's fucking embarrassing, some of the stuff that he's doing. You know, like Monts said, you know what I mean, putting his hands behind his back and the way some of the defending he's doing. He's not just turned into a bad defender overnight. It's confidence. I don't think he trusts his body. I think he's now probably starting to doubt his ability. And that's unfortunately, and I always say, I do not take no pleasure in this because I want to see the best players in the world in this league. But that's all come from the injury, man. The one thing I would say, the midfield, I think Monts might have said this, the midfield has shafted him as well. You know what I mean? He no longer has that protection in front of him because the Liverpool midfield is abysmal. But there's also other areas in the Liverpool team that need addressing, in my opinion, quicker than Van Dijk. Yeah. But you're never going to see the Van Dijk of when you won the league and that, because I think them days are gone. He's still a good defender, but he'll never be up there again, in my opinion, because of the injury.
And we saw it with Vinny, innit? We saw it with Vinny.
He came back from injuries as well, didn't he? Yeah.
But now, Vinny had seasons upon seasons of
multiple.
like coming back and first game back out and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, that's the season he retired from City was probably his best season at City for about 4 years. And he actually came back in that the run-in, and actually looked like old Vinny for 3 months. And it was beautiful, then left. But injuries are a bad thing. I was just going to say, it's interesting when you talk on that, because how Van Dijk can't adapt. Because yesterday when we were doing our tier list, Akanji was in it. And I've been a critic of Akanji. For me, Akanji is our fifth best centre-back, right? But we have to applaud him that he's played all over that back four this season. His role has changed constantly in his first season in the Premier League. And I don't know if maybe that is why Pep went for someone that hasn't got to know the system. Someone that comes in and it's like, right, this week you're going to play here. But I do get fully what Monts said. I think Van Dijk, we've always seen it in him. He is a player that likes to blame other players around him. Look at other players and say,
he likes everything to be pretty. Everything's got to be pretty. Everything's got to be in its place. But
even his hair, even his waves. How do you have waves and a ponytail and a shape up at the same time? And you man thought this guy was going to get down and dirty. And a fade. You man thought this guy was going to get down and dirty with three different haircuts at the barber. 3 different trims.
He's the only man I know who cheats on his barber.
Don't get interested. He pulls it off. He pulls it off, but you see it like.
That is true, and Daps, I hear your comment as well, because I've always wondered why Liverpool had never gone to a back three, because Robertson and Trent, the way they fly up and down the wings, it would suit them perfectly. But then again, people have always said it that it never changes.
Van Dijk plays in a back three for Holland, right? Yeah. They've got Matip, they've got Konate, they've got Gomez who actually can play on the right as well. It's like, this screams to me, this season of all seasons, you know what? Just go back to a back three, because then Robertson can tuck in and be a fourth, because he is maybe a bit better defensively a lot better than Trent defensively. But I don't know, maybe that's just on Klopp, that Klopp don't want to change.
Klopp ain't going to do that though, is he?
We've been screaming about that for a while now, bro.
Yeah. I don't think Klopp's that tactical guy, bro. I think Klopp's got one fucking thing in his head, that one formation, and then like that's it. I don't think he's, and this is why I ain't being funny, but when people compare Klopp to Pep, I always like, look, don't get me wrong. I think Klopp's a top manager, and I think when he gets the team how he wants it to be played, like you've seen at Dortmund and you've seen at Liverpool, it's amazing. But the difference between the elite managers and the very good managers is that when the elite managers team turns to shit, they go, I'm gonna rebuild this, and I might have to rebuild it a different way and a different style. And I ain't seen the evidence that Klopp has done that yet. Now, it may turn out, if they get some investment in the summer, get a bit of cash in or whatever, they've already got a few players in, invest, he might be able to do that. But I just don't think he's going to rebuild the team in a different way. I think he's just going to go, same again. You know what I mean? Let's
Yeah,
try and go
same
the same
formation
style.
and just try and refresh the legs.
This is what I'm saying. Rather than try a new puzzle, we're still trying to force the wrong pieces into the. He's trying to. Do you know what I'm saying? He's trying to force the piece into the puzzle that might not fit or he doesn't know is going to fit. As we said, plan A, plan B. Try to make a better form of plan A.
It's the 4-3-3, isn't it? It's just the standard 4-3-3.
And it's not like Klopp has never changed. I said there has been slight variations where, again, 2018-19, we went 4-2-3-1. It was a lot more defensively compact. It allowed us to play a 10. You know,
early this season we went 4-2-4. 4-2-4.
Yeah, 4-2-4.
4-2-4 we did. Yeah.
And that was when we saw the best Salah at any point this season. We saw the best Mohamed Salah when it was Firmino sometimes dropping in as a midfielder, and we had Darwin Núñez starting to pop up and starting to gain some.
I don't know. Hold on. Was that against United then? Because that was the best Liverpool we've seen this season.
No, that was actually a 4-3-3, but we just turned into a Super Saiyan of a team.
So I just wanted to
and we were crap. Yeah.
No, so, you lot played the right first half, man.
Yeah. But the second half, we mixed it with you. But you've got to kind of do that. That's something. It's when you look at Liverpool, you don't look at like one or two performances for their season and judge them as that really good, which you were really good against us. Come on, you beat us 7-0. Like, I'm not going to lie and sit and chat shit. Do you know what I mean? You beat us 7-0. That's the points. And that's the facts. But there's only a handful of performances you're talking about Liverpool this season, whereas normally in previous years...
Can you say that one more time, Ty? What, can you just say that one more time?
The score was James Bond. Yeah. So there you go. But we change it. But there's only a handful of performances we can look at Liverpool this season and say, do you know what? That was the Liverpool we're used to. So it is going to be interesting, guys. We're going to do another 10 minutes. So please make sure you just smash the like. Please make sure you subscribe as well. Check out Callum's channel, Kopish, Lewis's channel, City Extra. We've got Monts as well with Big Six Pants, and obviously here, me, myself, Daps, always here as well. I'm just going to big up this comment as well. Shout out, Ken. I hope you're well, bro. He says, can we just get an RIP for Claude from AFTV? It's 2 years since.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man, I got to show love to that. Obviously, he was great for what he done for AFTV and as a passionate football fan. So yeah, big up Ken for that comment. Thank you very much. 200 people here. Yeah, man. Please smash the like on that. All your comments here. I never remember Van Dijk being an aggressive defender, which is true. Tactically, Klopp is poor. You need the other German for a back three. In regards to Ken saying it's easy to say that when you have oil money. I don't know why that always needs to come up, to be honest. Like,
that's just a
not so good with that one, Ken.
You know what, Ken? Ken, let me just say this to you, Ken, and this is me being truthful. If you got the oil money tomorrow, you wouldn't be complaining. Trust me.
That's why. Not only that, man. Not only that. Deal with this shit. You gotta, you can't just go through life and go, I can't fucking deal with this because of this team has got oil money. You're a manager. You're meant to be one of the best managers in the world. You're managing Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs on the planet. And what you're going to do is just turn around and be like, oh, well, we don't have fucking oil money, so we can't do shit.
Do you reckon Arteta did that? Do you reckon when Arteta arrived at Arsenal, he walked in and goes, oh, fuck this, we ain't got oil money? No, he didn't.
Yeah, exactly. At least he realizes. Look, he's realized quickly. So that's all cool.
What I will say on that topic is, if, say, for example, we were missing out on the league, then I'd maybe speak about that. But when we're not even close to getting into the top four, that for me, that argument becomes null and void. If we're going against you for the league, then I'll bring that up as a little argument now and I'll go,
I didn't know you brought that up, Cal.
Then I would have gone, you know what? Yeah, Klopp's not doing the rebuild very well, but Pep has it easier because he can go to his owners and say, I need that player and that player only. Cal, but you see, when we're battling for top four, there is no argument because the team and the squad we've got should be good enough to get into the top four. So I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about a manager who's not got no tactics at the moment.
I slightly disagree with just the first bit that you said where, if we were competing for the league, you can use it for an excuse. I'm not going to lie.
No, not an excuse, but I can use it
maybe as a factor, cool.
Yeah.
I don't see that as a factor at all. And apart from maybe 17-18, anything past 17-18 season, I can't say money because we're talking 1 point difference. If people think oil money differentiates that 1 point difference of how Liverpool and City were battling it out, then for me, you're crazy because when we won the Champions League and the Premier League, man, they weren't complaining about City's oil money then.
I still was.
Well, maybe you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of man weren't complaining about, like, you can't be winning. Yeah, we're this great. And then the second we get picked, it's oil money. It's their fault. It's oil money. You got to pick one. Do you know what I'm saying?
You know what, Monts, you spot on there, because I think that's right in terms of the year that you picked. You know, in the last 5 years, Man City's net spend, we're 10th in the league. 10th in the last 5 years net spend. So people could talk about money, and we did throw it around at the beginning, but obviously we had to. Any idiot can see we had to spend the money. We've been a lot more. I mean, obviously we signed Grealish for 100 million last season. That's the first time we've really gone up to that sort of big. We were picking players up for like 40 to 50 million. We were very methodical in our signings. We were signing Kevin De Bruyne, and everyone in the UK media space was like, terrible signing, ridiculous. Well, you know what they're saying now. So last 5 years, and I think that's why.
How little we paid for Gundogan as an example?
26 mil. You know what I mean?
He was a cheap.
You got to remember, never say anything to do with money, and especially this season when you needed a midfielder. Like you needed another, I don't know, like you were missing a kidney. You needed a spare kidney, and you went and bought a striker. Like
that one was bad for me. I still will never understand.
Well, is he a striker, Monts? Is he a striker?
Who are you talking about here? Nunes.
Gakpo. Yeah.
And to be fair, and Nunes is this now newfound left forward that, you know, because Klopp doesn't, maybe Nunes doesn't know, maybe Klopp doesn't know. I don't know anymore, innit? But now that Diaz is back in training and he looks like he could be, you know, back to the starting 11 maybe the next few weeks, or however long it's going to take, this is the first time we've actually had a natural left winger play left wing. I don't care what anyone says. Jota's not a left winger. He's a forward who can play left wing when needed. Darwin Nunes is not a left winger. He's a left forward who can play there when needed. Gakpo, you could say, is a predominantly left winger, but he's not a Premier League left winger. He's 6'2".
Now, Diaz as a winger is better than all of them, hands down.
Yeah, he's better than all of them.
100%. And do you know what? Because I'll ask you guys now as Liverpool fans, and we'll end it on the City note. Big up everyone that's watching. Over 200 of you. Keep smashing that like button, people, before we wrap up in the next 5-10 minutes. But obviously, having Luis Diaz back, you've seen Cody Gakpo, funny enough, play up front sometimes, and his dropping to the pockets actually is better than I thought it would be as I see him playing there, which I've actually been quite impressed with. But we're going to see what happens, because we know that Firmino is leaving as well. So then your attack is going to be, you know, Diaz, Salah, Jota, Nunes, and Gakpo. So there's going to be a bit of variation there that he can utilize with, but he's going to have to nail down his main front three. And for me, guys, Luis Diaz comes into that. I think you've missed him a lot in terms of his energy, his ability to isolate players 1v1, a bit like how Jack Grealish attracts pressure. Like he brings 2 or 3 players over, opens up space for others. He's got the natural intelligence of a winger. Now, he's not going to probably start on Saturday, should I say, but I think he's a very important player for this Liverpool system.
Yes,
Callum, how happy are you just to see him back training? I see the video today and what he can give you maybe for the rest of the season once he gets his minutes.
Again, I don't want to come across as negative, but I know some Liverpool fans are going to say I am being negative, but I genuinely don't mean to be. I'm both over the moon to see Diaz back, but I'm also worried about seeing him back. The two knee injuries he's had, they're not good injuries to return from too quickly. And I feel as though we're rushing him back because we're so desperate to get top 4 that we're having to put him in this position. So that worries me a little bit. In terms of the quality of the player, I think he proved it. Before he got injured, he was our best player, hands down. Like the goal he scored against Crystal Palace, like his game against Arsenal before he got injured, he was the only one who showed any sort of fight against Napoli. He was excellent. But the 2 injuries he's coming off from, for the knee injuries, I personally didn't want to see him play again this season, especially now we're out of the other trophies as well. I didn't want to see him. But at the same time, I'm not a medical person at Liverpool. So I'm trusting that they're going to do the best. But the fact that I've seen Pachetic get a season-ending injury, it feels as though Diaz is being rushed back. We've rushed back other players. I just want us to really protect Diaz and just understand that there is a season after this season. We want to see the best of Diaz for the future, not just for the next month and a half. So I'm glad he's back. But I just pray to God that we ain't rushed him back just to try and get top 4.
That's a very good way of looking at it. Monts, what do you think of that? Because, you know, if Liverpool will win, say if Liverpool were up there, saying like Arsenal vibes at the moment or in every competition, because Klopp can trust the players that have got in there, they would probably, you know, they wouldn't rush him. But real talk, because of the position you're in terms of like, the Liverpool fans do want to start winning games. Klopp does, of course, want to start winning games despite where you are. Do you think he might rush? Yeah, top 4 still potentially there.
Champions League football.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think he could bring Diaz back in quicker than what you would like and Callum would like?
I know where Kyle's coming from because I know we as I said, we've been made aware of what injury it was, and the success rate of coming back the same player isn't very high. It's more no than yes.
Okay.
But we will never know until we see him play. Sometimes it does take players. For me, I can understand why Kyle would probably want him to have a pre-season and then just start the season fresh off a good pre-season. But for me, he's going to probably be wanting to come back faster than anyone. Even though Lucha doesn't speak English, we can clearly see his tenacity, his drive. He even when he had the knee injury, Donny was still trying to play. Now that's obviously it's a double-edged sword. I think with Thiago, with the return of Thiago looking like it'll be within the next 3 weeks or so, even though it was supposed to be this week.
What, for 2 weeks?
Listen, 2 weeks into listen, I don't know anymore with him.
No, but I'm saying it'll take 3 weeks for him to come back for 2 weeks, then he'll be out again.
Yeah, probably. But with
allow it, Daps, man. Why you gotta do the low blows, bro?
And I say, hey,
Tyro, kick him out.
He might help you do the low blows.
To be fair, Callum, to get 55 minutes of serious Daps, we done well.
Listen, I saw Arthur done a mad. He pulled off a mad nutmeg in a rondo sesh today in training. So I've now got my money back.
Everywhere, innit?
I've got my that's my dose of Arthur for this season. You know, that's it done now. And I hope he enjoyed his time at Liverpool. And yeah, he can. I don't know, man. Do you know what would be funny?
Come to Liverpool.
I don't know. Do you know what would be funny though? If he actually like got a run in the team for the rest of the season and got us top 4, could you imagine?
That would be mad.
Could you imagine the madness?
Well, he'd be there next season.
Well, we'll probably score against us tomorrow. Now said this, but
yeah, I think he'll be. I think Diaz will be fine. I just think he has to manage himself because he tends to run himself into the ground. Even when he was fit,
high intensity.
That first 60 minutes he'd be electric, but then you can see 70th minute. Guy, he's ran himself into the ground, you know, literally. So I think he needs to. I hope, and our management has been so bad in the back room, but I hope they're drilling it into his head. Get Thiago to be the translator if he's not going to play any football for us. Yo, just hold it down, bro. Hold it down.
It's true though. I do think with Diaz, he either plays 100 miles an hour or nothing, and that's what you want from Diaz because you want him. That's how he plays to his best. But Lewis, we're gonna do just a few more minutes on City. People are asking for Jack Grealish prop. They want you to mention, you know, Jack Grealish and how important he's been, obviously, to your season, which we all know. But do you think he could be one of the catalysts for this game on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, he doesn't really score goals or get assists, so he's unlikely to grab the headlines. He never really does. But no, he's a good player. You know, he plays well in the big games. He keeps the ball up the pitch, which is necessary against the big teams. He really helps us out in the bigger games more than he does in the smaller games. I personally say. Oh, he's probably going through his best period at the club. You know, I still think he needs to add more G&A to his game. I know people will be like, that's not his game. Well, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I think if you're playing for a winger for Manchester City, I would like to see you get, you know, I'm not going crazy here. I just think he should be aiming to get, I don't know. I think he can get like 10 goals, 10 assists across all comps. We do play 50 games a season. I don't think that's completely unreasonable. I think that's the next target, you know, and I think that's what he should be looking for. But he's going through the best form of his Manchester City career so far, and I think he's played against Liverpool a couple of times now this season, and I think he's played relatively well against Liverpool every time, and he Daps.
I'm pretty certain in the cup game, I'm pretty certain maybe he might have played more centrally a little bit, which is where I want to see Grealish. I want to see Grealish more central for me.
Okay, is that something you look at next season then, Daps, as in incorporating him slowly there?
I've said the whole thing on Bellingham. Right, if Bellingham came to City, I'd be happy, right? Because Bellingham is a very good player who's showing a mad IQ at a very young age. And if you get him, you could have a central midfielder for a long time, right? But if we don't get him, I'm not mad at someone like Grealish moving into an 8 role and us going out and getting a winger that will bring us more GA. Because for me, Grealish looks at his best when he comes deep, picks up the ball, and moves through the middle with the ball. He attracts players. He's like a magnet. Players just go to him, right? Now, at times this season, we've struggled to find space behind defence for Haaland to run into. I feel like if Grealish was running at a defence, players would go towards him and leave that space for Haaland to run into. But look, Grealish has been great this season. Like Lewis said, he's never going to grab the headlines. If he didn't go for 100 million, Grealish would be the type of player that this season people would be saying, you know what, Grealish is going below the radar and he's very, very underrated, right, with what he does for the team. But because it's 100 million, and I said this last season, I get it. There's an expectation. You do want numbers. When we look at who's this fidget spinner? No, fidget spinner.
That's strike two.
That's strike two, bro. Come on now, bro.
No, I actually meant fidget spinner, Anthony, right? When you look at him, you're looking at his output because he's a winger and he cost 80 million. So it's like, right, show us your output. So I do get it with Grealish, but I'm with Lewis. I don't think tomorrow necessarily is the game for him at all.
Okay. Yeah. Who? Okay. So before we wrap up, then, if it was for you, like you said, you mentioned De Bruyne. Other than De Bruyne, if there was one player you definitely want on that pitch for City, if it's not Haaland, who would you want on that pitch with De Bruyne?
Mahrez, bro.
Mahrez.
Ramadan Mahrez, bro. It's time to cook, man. The guy always cooks now.
Yeah, well, Foden out. Obviously, this might be a chance for Riyad Mahrez to get back in the side. I'm not saying he's lost his place, but we know that Foden's come in, done very well on the right-hand side, and it might be a perfect time for Mahrez to seize the moment. And I'm guessing, obviously, with Liverpool, Mo Salah is still there despite the Liverpool season. Mo Salah can still produce big moments in big games, and these are the sort of games he thrives on because he'll get space in behind if he can on the break. And let's see what can happen. But we're going to do our predictions quickly and then wrap it up here. First of all, just before we do plug it out, guys, make sure you are subscribing to Callum's channel, please. Kopish, which is down below. Make sure you subscribe to Monts' channel as well. Big Six Bounce, that is down below. Also, Lewis's channel, which he does City Extra. Great channel as well over there, guys, down below. All of them in the title. So make sure you go and hit, their links there and hit them up. And then, obviously, myself, Daps, Cass, Mo, we're always here. But yeah, Callum, I'll start with your away team. I'm not really a score prediction guy, but I've got to do it for the people that love watching the show. So yeah, what are you going with on Saturday?
So if it's Haaland that's going to be out, I'm going to go 2-1 City.
Okay, so tight. Okay, Monts.
I think Haaland not be. I think Liverpool have done a good job every time they've come up against Haaland. I would have rather him played.
Oh, speak for yourself,
I would rather him played.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I think dealing with Alvarez is going to be a little bit more problematic for us in terms of
with the movement,
tactics.
maybe, and all that.
Yeah, with the movement and being busy and stuff. I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay. What about you, Lewis?
I think City will try and make the game as tight as possible. I don't think they're going to want to open up at all because that might suit Liverpool. So I think we'll try and keep it tight, keep control of possession, not force the issue too much. And I think we'll try and nick it. So I'm going to go for a tight Man City win, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. I don't think the game will open up and be pure goals. I don't think Pep will do that. I think that's dumb. So yeah, just a slight Manchester City win, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, something like that.
Okay, perfect. And Daps, give you the final say, man. Give that confidence to the City fans. Nah, not doing it today.
You know I'm not, bro.
And I hear it.
I hear it. Same on Kopish yesterday. It's the business end of the season. I can't give none of that. I can't give a curse on.
You just want one word, and that's win. That's it. You just want them to win.
No, I'll keep saying it. I said it yesterday on Kopish. Hold tight, Pancakes. My boy Pancakes told me at Newcastle that we're going to win 4-1 against Liverpool. So Pancakes predicted 4-1 City.
There you
Not
go.
me.
And Pancakes, if that is the score, send some pancakes down for us. I enjoy them. Some syrup. But
He's
guys,
got his pancakes in Leipzig as well, by the way.
Oh, I love that. Love that. Guys, make sure you, like I said, you please smash up the like. Make sure you subscribe to all the channels as well. This weekend, we're going to have content. Me and Mo will be doing the Premier League preview generic tomorrow about 3:30. And then on Saturday, we'll have the evening debate show. And then on Sunday, we'll have Rivals, Not Virals. And then we should have a preview for the Chelsea,
Chelsea
game as well. Yeah. So, yeah, guys, busy weekend. Make sure you keep supporting everyone here. And everyone have a blessed Friday tomorrow. And, guys, catch you soon.